I never imagined a single argument could change the course of my life. My name is Evan, and I'm 18. I had always tried to keep the peace at home, to balance school, chores, and family expectations, but that night, everything erupted. It started as a typical evening. I had finished my homework and was quietly sitting in my room when my mom, Linda, stormed in. I didn't think much of it at first. She often came in to check on me or remind me of chores. But tonight, her expression was different, anger burning behind her eyes, sharp and immediate. "Evan!" she yelled, her voice echoing through the house. "Get out and never come back." The words hit me like a physical blow. I froze, unable to respond at first. My mind raced, trying to understand what had triggered such fury. I had never seen her this angry. My father, Mark, was in the kitchen, silent, watching the scene unfold, but he didn't intervene. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. Something inside me told me that leaving was the only choice. I grabbed a small backpack, threw in a few essentials, and stepped into the cold night air. The door closed behind me, and the sound of it shutting felt final, as if a chapter of my life had ended in a single moment. The first few nights were rough. I stayed with a friend, Tyler, who was sympathetic but didn't fully understand the tension at home. I slept on his couch, trying to process everything. I replayed my mom's words in my head endlessly, "Get out and never come back." Each repetition felt heavier, a reminder of the fractured trust and anger that had exploded so suddenly. During the day, I wandered the city streets, reflecting on what had led to this moment. I realized that my relationship with my mom had been strained for years. Small misunderstandings, unspoken expectations, and moments of miscommunication building up like a dam. I never expected it to break in such a violent flood of words. Weeks passed. I returned to school, tried to maintain routines, and slowly began to adapt to my new reality. I avoided calling home, believing my mother's command was absolute, that any attempt to reach out would only reignite the anger. Then, one evening, my father called me. I didn't recognize the tone in his voice at first. Serious, hesitant, but not angry. "Evan," he said, "we need to talk." I went to his office. He motioned for me to sit down. The silence stretched between us, filled with unspoken tension. Finally, he spoke. "Do you know why your mother said what she did?" he asked. I shook my head, feeling a mixture of fear and curiosity. "No. I don't understand." He sighed, leaning back in his chair. "She was angry, yes, but she didn't mean it literally. She felt hurt, frustrated, and didn't know how else to express it. She didn't want you gone forever. She was scared of losing you, in a way she didn't know how to handle." I blinked, trying to process his words. Everything I had felt, the rejection, the fear, the isolation, was real, but it hadn't been what I thought. My mother's anger had been a mask, a way to cope with feelings she couldn't put into words. Over the next hours, my father helped me understand the dynamics at home, the pressures my mother had faced, and how our arguments had escalated beyond control. I realized that leaving, though painful, had given all of us time to reflect, to cool down, and to gain perspective. When I returned home later that evening, the atmosphere was tense but different. My mother's eyes filled with tears as she hugged me. "I didn't mean it the way I said," she whispered. "I was wrong. I didn't know how to handle my frustration." I forgave her, not immediately, but with the understanding that anger and hurt can sometimes make people say things they don't truly mean. That night, I learned that family relationships are fragile, but they can also heal with patience, communication, and the courage to return after the storm has passed. The experience left a lasting impression on me. I realized that walking away doesn't always mean giving up. It can also mean creating space to understand, reflect, and rebuild. And sometimes, the people we think have rejected us are simply struggling to express their love in the only way they know.